Hey, welcome to this edition of The Soul Trap. And you are actually with us here on site. We did this a while back. We want to come back and do it again. We are in the process, literally in the middle of the process right now as I'm speaking. Kevin and I are here working. We've got the laptop. We've got the tools. He's got the phone, the board, the computer. We've got books, and we are researching. And we're just going to be covering a lot of material today. And so we thought every once in a while it'd be interesting for you to be able to come behind the scenes, see what interests us, see how we research what we're looking at. And of course, one of the big things that are on the radar screen right now is what just happened in Minneapolis. The Minneapolis shooter, the event that took place. Of course, the tragedy always, we have to be very careful. Sometimes we rush to say things. We need to be careful about what we're doing. But let me bring you up to speed in case you don't know, and then we're going to talk about it, Kevin, what we see. What exactly happened? On August 27th, 2025, during the first morning mass of the school year at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. And you want to remember Minneapolis because we need to come back to that. Minneapolis has other religious connotations that you might not be aware of.
Oh, yeah.
So try to help me remember to come back to that. But Minneapolis, Westman opened fire, discharging approximately 116 to 120 rounds through the building window. The attack resulted in the death of 2 children, 8 and 10, and 18 others were injured. The total number of injured ranges depending on different sources. Westman died, as usual in these cases, by an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene. It's always funny that they always kill themselves. Mm-hmm. They have such a desire to kill other people. And I think you could go one of two ways. Well, you can go a couple of ways with that. One of them is they're not killing themselves. Maybe they're being killed so that you don't get the interview, you don't get information. And maybe they are killing themselves because they're programmed to kill themselves.
Kill switch.
Kill switch, yeah. Or maybe they're programming them. Maybe they're killing themselves because, like Fyodor Dostoevsky in Crime and Punishment, the weight, they try to do something with no consequences, but they find that the weight of what they've done is beyond bearable. In other words, you can deny God all you want, but at some point, the weight of your conscience catches up with you. I don't know. But nonetheless, that's what happened. What do we know about the shooter? Who was the shooter? Well, the attacker has been identified as 23-year-old Robin M. Westman. Now, that's problematic because Robin is actually not the real name. Robert is the real name. Law enforcement reports indicate Westman grew up in Richfield, Minnesota, and was a former student at Annunciation School, graduating in 2017. Now, to be fair, that's a long time ago, to be quite frank. 2017. It's 2025. It's just 2 years. Is what, 8 years? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like the person just as a kid and graduated high school. So I was bullied in high school, yada, yada. You had 8 years to get over it. Westman had legally changed his name. I'm actually reading, and it says there, changed the name in 2019 after identifying as a female, but later expressed regret about transitioning, writing in a diary that he was, quote, tired of being trans and felt he definitely don't feel like a man. Now, that is an understatement. We're going to come back to that understatement in just a minute. According to court records, Westman used a van registered to his father to carry out the attack, and neighbors later identified the residence where weapons were stockpiled via Ring camera footage. After the shooting, of course, here comes the standard trope. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey condemned the surge of anti-trans rhetoric and urged compassion, which makes perfect sense, I say jokingly, because that's what we have. We have people running around shooting trans. Or, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Actually, we don't. It's the other way around. So anyway, he comes out and he urges compassion, asserting the tragedy should not be weaponized against the transgender community. Representative Ian Omar Need to keep that name in mind with Minneapolis, with the religious connotation. We'll come back to in a minute. Rebuked White House official Sebastian Gorka for emphasizing the shooter's transgender identity, which we should, because Robert was actually complaining about being Robin.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. We didn't bring it up. He did. All right.
Exactly.
Anyway, calling for a focus on mental health and gun control instead. Minnesota's transgender healthcare policies came under scrutiny after revelations Westman had expressed regret about transitioning. And not to be left out, one of the great thinkers and philosophers of our time, Rosie O'Donnell, erroneously claimed Westman was a MAGA person and a white supremacist, but later apologized on social media after being corrected.
Oops.
She got Jessie Smouye.
Yeah.
That's what happened to her. Let's see here. Context. Transgender people in mass shooting. Experts emphasize that mass shootings by transgender individuals are exceptionally rare. The incident involving Robert, i.e. Robin Westman, has been noted as the only second verified case of its kind after the 2023 Nashville shooting by a transgender perpetrator over recent years. According to data from the Violence Project and other research outlets, these shootings constitute well under 1% of the mass shootings. Editorial and fact-checking outlets caution against using individual cases to generalize or stigmatize transgender people, many of whom are themselves disproportionately victim, not perpetrators of violence. In summary, the recent Minneapolis shooter, Robin, also biologically known as Robert, was 23-year-old who identified as a transgender, but expressed conflicting feelings about the identity. Now, I'm going to pause there. It's more than conflicting feelings. We here at the Soul Trap, and Kevin and I, you and I have talked extensively about this, that what we're dealing with runs so much deeper and so much spiritual. And a lot of times we'll bring stuff up and people are like, why are you so spooky? This and that. Well, when you look at this guy's journal entry, the picture he drew, the journal entry that he wrote, I don't know how you cannot be right smack middle in the depths, the deepest chamber of the Soul Trap.
Absolutely.
Anything we've talked about, Frazzle Drip, Emily Rose, when you start looking at that, this guy with that journal entry and what he said, it's stunning, and it should be plastered across the front page because it is demonic in nature, right? So we're going to pull up on the screen. Do you have that? Or can we see if we can pull that up? We're going to pull up on the screen. Now, you're live time with us now. We're in here working. Are they seeing what I'm seeing? Look,
they are.
Okay. So this is from his journal entry. Now, I want you to take a close look. There's an interesting couple things that I think we ought to notice. The first thing I think that's interesting to notice is him looking in the mirror. And I want you to take a good close look. And I'm going to start from the simple and work my way up. Look at the sidearm strapped across his back. Now that is not an AR-15. That looks more like an AK-47, a Kalashnikov. I'll bet you could, if you look at that stock and you look at that, that looks like a Kalashnikov to me. Now I know that I'm being silly. But the reason that I say that, the reason I think that's important is because look at the writing. It's Russian.
Yeah.
It's Russian. He has a Kalashnikov. That's not an AR-15. And I think it's very interesting, too, because this is a detailed drawing. This is not a momentary, flighty sort of a sketch, and I'll tell you why. Notice two things that stand out to me. Number one, notice his hair. He doesn't just have long hair. Notice how his hair he's curled at the bottom. It's these little touches. And then notice the sink. Notice the sink has handles. And notice there's soap. It's not just stuff there. There's the soap. See the little spout there?
Yeah.
So this is a very detailed drawing. Notice he goes so far as to draw the 3 lights above. Right? How clear he's drawing the double line of the mirror. He's looking in the mirror. And then I think what's very fascinating about this picture is that the demon, or whatever that being is not just standing in the mirror, it is mirroring him exactly. See how he's got his arms there? And see how his head is leaning towards the mirror, the demon's head is leaning towards it is an exact mirror. So what I'm trying to get at is that this is not just the spur of the moment sketchings. I think that Robert is actually sketching out something that he literally saw.
Right.
He's giving you what he saw. Now, here's the second thing that's interesting. If we can zoom in on the face a little bit, notice that there appear to be 1, 2, 3, 4 horns.
Right.
Right? And then look at the face. I mean, when you really look in and zoom in on that, what's interesting about it is it looks bad, but when you really look at it, it doesn't look, I don't want to say scary. It looks odd, but it doesn't look like somebody who's over trying to project something. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like if I was going to try to lie, I would make it look as awful with jagged teeth. Mm-hmm. So he's describing something that he sees. And then what's really interesting is look at the body. See the line going down the middle and the thing? It almost look kind of like reptilian to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm reading more into it. But see the lines coming out?
Right. Like underneath of a turtle, like their shell with the lips.
Underneath of a turtle, something you would see underneath of a turtle or underneath of a snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very, what are you picking up? Are you...
Well, I mean, to be honest, this is the first time that I'm seeing this, so this is pretty interesting looking.
Mm-hmm.
To say the least. But, I mean, he's 100% a disturbed individual. I'm seeing the skull and crossbones in the mirror. I don't know if that's a sticker that he has on his mirror or that's something that's on the other dimension. And you have this other, is that a halo maybe above this demon in the picture? It's just very strange. And then I'm not sure what this confused little whirlwind above his head is here.
Yeah. Well, I just sent you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching us live time in the studio, guys. I hope this isn't boring you, but this is how we get work done. Look at this picture and tell me that doesn't look something like what the underbelly is.
Oh, yeah.
Can we put that picture on? Can you get that up in just a minute? It's the picture of a cobra, a snake, another drawing. Very fascinating. We'll see if we can pull that up for you. It looks something very similar.
Yeah.
Look at that right there. See the line going down the middle and then the lines coming out? Reptilian in nature.
Oh, yeah. That's 100% what that was.
Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty fascinating. Now, here's the next thing. Let's go back to what the shooter said. What did he actually say? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Okay. Let's see here. Let me find the drawing. What was it was actually said? What did he say in there? It's in Russian. Okay, here it is. Actually, he had a hand-drawn floor plan of the church. Right? Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he stabbed it with a knife. But here's what the sketch of the man talking to the demon. Another pencil sketch shows a man resembling the shooter with a gun talking to a horned creature. Russian text above the drawing says this, and here's what it says. Who am I? When will this end? Help me. I don't want it. That's what the Russian says. That's what the words say. Who am I? When will this end? Help me. I don't want it.
Well.
So there you go. Nothing to see here. Just your standard run-of-the-mill trans...
Something or someone is inside of him telling him to do exactly what happened.
Exactly. That and I think maybe the cat is out of the bag now because... yeah.
And whether it's... I mean, it's probably... I mean, two arms of the same being... you have a spiritual attack, and then you have government coming in doing MK Ultra kind of thing, which his dad was linked to, working for an entity that did MK Ultra for the CIA back in the 90s.
What was the one up in Florida? Parkland?
Parkland?
Parkland.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at that real quick, because I thought that he claimed. Okay. CBS News. Parkland shooter claimed a demon made me do it.
Mm-hmm.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Okay. School shooter Nicholas Cruz told a detective shortly after. Now this is CNN, as reported by CBS News. There is a transcript of Cruz's conversation with a detective after his arrest on the day of the shooting. On February 14th, the transcript shows the gunman talking about his deceased parents and a demon that Cruz says was in his head. The document also details the meeting Cruz had with his younger brother. Yeah. Let's see. Cruz was read his rights, continued several times. The detective left the room. Cruz spoke to himself saying, "Kill me. Just kill me." Another time, there's your kill switch.
Yeah.
Another time, Cruz said, "I want to die. At the end, you're nothing but worthless, dude. You deserve to die because you're worthless and you killed everyone. I want to die." That's what he said. The detective asked Cruz what the demon told him to do. Cruz answered, "Burn, kill, destroy." Cruz became defensive of those accusations. The detective... Now, this is interesting because this is the connectivity. We've been saying this for a long time. People are like, "Oh, yeah, you guys are just conspiracy theorists." The detective pushed Cruz on whether or not the voice really existed. The detective said, "You could have stopped the demon by getting a prescription for marijuana. You could have stopped..." I got to know who that detective is, right?
Yeah.
"You could have stopped the demon by getting a prescription for Xanax. You could have stopped the demon anytime you want. You didn't want to stop the demon." Cruz became defensive of those accusations, told the detective over and over, "I don't like the demon," before asking for attorney and ending the interrogation. When the detective left the room, Cruz again started talking to himself. "Why didn't he kill me?" He repeated over and over. Why didn't he kill me? That's a fascinating statement. Is that one that got away?
Man.
That's just, you tell me what you think. You reach out to us. I mean, where do you even begin with that? Because, what's interesting to me is the question is, are these the new serial killers?
Right.
Is this a demonic reality that we're dealing with?
You go through all of these, and like the one thing we've pointed out from day one, I mean, go back to Columbine, the one thing that every single one of them have in common is the antidepressants, is the pharmaceuticals that they're all taking. That is shown to, I mean, it changes everything within you. It changes the chemical balance in your brain. It changes you. But does that predispose you to receive certain messages or open you up to a different dimension that you receive these things? So is it, like I said, is it two entities? Is it a worldly entity and a spiritual entity working together to deliver these people up, or what is it? It's always, to me, I look at it, it's especially the whole transgenderism, like the CNN or one of them said that there's not an epidemic of transgender shooters. Well, there actually is.
Yes. How many does it have to take to be an epidemic?
Exactly. Yeah. There's several. There's at least 6 or 7 of them now that have happened. The last notable mass shootings have all been transgenders. So you have, and all of them are on the antidepressants, but they're also on the hormone blocking drugs. They're also on all the different transition treatments that have to take place, and those definitely 100% alter your brain.
Well, and then you have to think about what happens And what happens to your body when you start torquing your body?
Mm-hmm.
When you start twisting and turning and infusing your body and cutting yourself. I mean, we see that in the Bible. The Bible's such a cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible talks about demons having the hair of a woman, the face of a man. The Bible talks about the demonic, the Gadarene demoniac cutting himself, being depressive. These are all things that we're seeing. We're normalizing this behavior, but it's demonic, not in the sense of a political sense. Oh, they're just demonic. No. It's demonic in the sense of these people are victims, and I'm not taking their responsibility in their proper way. But that Robert was showing you something that he saw in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy for Parkland, Cruz, was telling you what he was hearing. Why didn't he kill me? Why didn't he kill me? I mean, it's pretty stunning when you think about it.
Yeah. They're they're like demonic winter soldiers, they're waiting for that thing to put them into it. And I just, like I said, I go back to the whole treatment thing. I believe there's something weird going on there. And it's, a lot of times it's outside of the parents' control. I heard a testimony this morning. I was listening to a podcast, a guy telling testimony that he had to essentially break his daughter. They were in Washington State. He had to break his daughter out of the hospital because they were wanting to force transition her because she was even underage. She's like 11 years old and was coached essentially by a guidance counselor into believing that she was transgender and was in the hospital. And they were wanting to start prescribing her these hormone blockers and then lots of extra testosterone to transition her into that. And he had to use different means to get her out of there and had to leave the state. Their parents are being forced into that. Whether they're being pressured into it by doctors or society, or they themselves have just been led astray along the line somewhere.
Yeah.
Into believing that this is what I have to do. And this is another testimony. The guy was told by a doctor, he said, would you rather have a dead son or a living daughter?
Oh my gosh.
Because they are suicidal. Would you rather have your son kill himself, or would you rather have your son become your daughter and live?
Sheesh.
I mean, what parent in the right mind? I mean, one, you're pulling on the emotional heartstrings. Nobody wants their child to die.
Uh-huh.
But now you're saying that's the only option? Either you transition your child or they kill themselves. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, choice is yours.
That's crazy, man. Well, and it's not just us that are asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
These are the questions we've been asking. Listen, we did this all the way back when we did a show on Columbine a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We've been asking this question for some time. Well, now Robert F. Kennedy, he actually, August 29th, 2025, the Washington Post, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suggests that psychiatric drugs may have played a role in the Minnesota Catholic school shooting, a statement widely criticized as so supported by science. I would be willing to bet you, if you could get past the Google algorithms, I would be willing to bet you that it's absolutely anecdotally true.
Mm-hmm.
But as you have seen the rise in psychiatric medication, we have seen a rise in mass shootings.
Absolutely.
School shootings.
And they know that.
Now, whether there's a cause correlation or not, we don't know 100%.
Right.
I think there is. Mm-hmm. But you said they know that.
The FDA knows that. The FDA, under the Biden administration, was just called out for that. Who is it? The America First Legal, a conservative legal group, has essentially filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Federal Drug Administration under the Biden administration. The FDA alleged failure to comply with the Freedom of Information Act request regarding records on puberty blockers and hormone treatments in minors. They are covering up, and what has come out from that is they had internal communications with the FDA, within the FDA, and third-party external organizations such as, which I never knew this existed, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, okay, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Endocrine Society, that they have records of adverse effects even associated with the use of these drugs in minors and in minors for gender transition, that they knew that they had adverse effects, but they suppressed it. And this is what the AFL, the America First Legal, is saying that the Biden administration and the FDA deliberately withheld information from the public to advance a radical gender ideology. So they knew it, but they suppressed that information. Like, listen, they're talking about that in between themselves and other organizations, but we're not going to let this information get out, because if it does, that's going to hurt us.
And what kind of blockers are those called?
Those are the hormone blockers. There was I had that written down somewhere. I'm not sure if I have that saved. No, I don't have that here anymore.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But they're saying that they have on their testing now, which I don't know how biased they are in their testing, but they're saying that there is a 25% increase in depression and suicidal tendencies when it comes to individuals taking these drugs. So they know that they're saying that there's a 25%. Now, I would probably even pad that even more, because they're probably going very conservative on their estimates there on what it is. But they knew about this, and they're the ones pushing these drugs out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Well, yeah, in 2022, the FDA quietly added a warning about risks of pseudotumor cerebria after several pediatric cases, and then on and on. Yeah, they're very aware of what's going on, but they want to keep it on the down low.
Yeah, it's a follow the money kind of thing too.
Yeah,
because you know the average cost for hormone blockers, and then the testosterone treatment or the estrogen, whichever way you're trying to transition. You know what the average cost per year is on somebody? It's $35,000 a year. Is what the treatment cost.
Holy cow.
Now, so you're taking a 10-year-old, say you're taking a 10-year-old boy who doesn't really fully mature to what, like 24, 25? So now you're putting that kid on 15 years worth of this stuff that if you stop that, you're going to really screw up the process of doing that. You're 15 the years of doing this because of going to cost money that the pharmaceutical companies are getting from that. And most insurance companies, I don't believe, cover that. So now you have the parents being bullied into paying for this. So it's just this huge scam they have.
Do you remember, if you're a long-time listener, we did a show on the Mother of Darkness and the connection between that castle in, I want to say it's in Belgium, and Pfizer and some of these companies. Interesting. You brought up a good point. The Greek in the Bible, in the King James Bible, which is the Word of God, the Greek word for sorcery is pharmakeia. Pharmakeia in the New Testament refers to sorcery, magic, arts. It also means the use or administering of drugs. It's used in Galatians 5:20, Revelation 18:23. A sorcerer, traditionally, who uses pharmakeia, a sorcerer is one who prepares magic potions. And that's exactly what these are. Magic potions.
Oh, yeah.
So what do magic potions do? Right?
Right.
Let's see, claim to do it. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Here we go. All right, magic potions are commonly found in folklore, mythology, fantasy literature, and historical records of occult. They are liquid concoctions believed to have supernatural or magical effects. What they claim to do depends on the context, but here are the most common types of effects associated with magic potions. Love and attraction, healing, invincibility potions, immortality, poison, truth serum, sleep, enhancement, and here's these last two. Ready? Mind control or obedience, transformation.
There you go.
Shape-shifting.
Yeah, there it is.
So there's your last two.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Commonly found in where? Folklore or
folklore.
CVS or Walgreens?
Exactly. Exactly, man. And I mean, how do you get away from that? How is this not all over the news? That picture of that guy talking to the mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. and here's where the whole conspiracy really gets deep, and this is something that I've been kicking around for a little while, and then just seeing this whole thing come about is you look at his father. So his father, father of the shooter here. I just got just a little brief thing here. So his father was named James Westman. James Westman works for a company called, where is it? It's Esri, ESRI, Esri. He works for a company called Esri, and it has connections with CIA, and then also go a little further back, MK Ultra. I mean, on 100% on record doing that. The company.
Say that again. Back up and.
So James Westman, the father of Robin Westman, the one who did the shooting, worked for a company called Esri. He was a senior application developer, is a senior application developer at this company. This company has ties to the CIA and the conspiracy theory of MK Ultra. The company's role, this is from Alex Jones, he talks about, is a leading company in a geospatial technology, providing services like geomapping and geocoordinates for entities like the Pentagon and Google. But they are linked to the CIA and the Department of Defense. And if you go a little further down the rabbit hole there, linking them to some of the MK Ultra testing. So you have this trans shooter's father working for a government entity that was, or a third-party entity that was working in cahoots with the CIA and the Department of Defense, who was working on, allegedly, MK Ultra, whose son now goes and shoots up a school, who says there's something in his head that he wants it to stop. It's like, are they experimenting on their children, or is it? See, this is where I kind of go down the rabbit hole here. I believe that you have these antidepressant and all these other drugs, and then you got these hormone blockers, and you have these transition treatments, and it's somehow they are enacting these Winter Soldier-esque individuals to go out and commit these crimes, these violent acts. It's like, how are they doing it to them? Well, it could be almost like a Project Mockingbird to the media. They have all the same talking points across every single platform.
Okay.
Every single, you go to any kind of news outlet, they all have the same platform. The government is pushing it out there. Look at this right here. Look at this on the screen there. That is Peggy Flanagan. She's a representative, I believe, from Minnesota. Her shirt, "Protect Trans Kids," and it has a knife on there. I mean, sure, there are cases of transgender kids getting bullied, possibly even worse than that.
Right.
But it should almost be protect the kids from the trans here, because who's the ones that are carrying out these acts? And you have, how are they reaching them? Now, you can go back and say that Project Mockingbird was stopped in the 80s, I believe they said it was. But you can look at, the Sinclair Group, remember that?
Yes.
That media outlet where they play dozens and dozens and dozens of news all across the United States. They're all saying the same thing at the same time.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trending of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 So I had the same narrative going out there.
It's going out.
And now there's even evidence of the CIA working with influencers now, because most people don't get their news from ABC and NBC anymore. It all comes from...
You can make a case that Joe Rogan got Donald Trump reelected.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. So now there's... oh man, what country was it? It was North Korea. It was even just found out of them reaching into influencers, trying to give them money and trying to sponsor them to say, you know, different things about South Korea and whatnot. But you have the U.S. government doing that same thing. So I believe they're using these media outlets, alternative media, that they have infiltrated to now tap these people to get them riled up. That's saying, well, if we don't protect ourselves, who will protect us?
Okay, so let me change gears with you guys a little bit, just slightly. There's a video that's been around, Lil Tony. Let me pronounce it correctly. It's not Little Tony. It's Lil Tony, a rapper. Here's my question. Is it possible that these beings are walking among us, and that you don't just have a demon possessed, but you have demonic beings manifesting themselves as human-like? In other words, how intertwined is this with the world? Because if we can bring this video up, I want you to watch this video. And I want you to listen to this guy tell his story, because it's very fascinating, and I think it ties in with what this guy, Robert, saw in the mirror. Are there drugs that are opening up the doorway to be infiltrated by the powers of darkness? Are there drugs and moments to where you get to a height of the Luciferian class and you now encounter beings? Mm-hmm. You know, it was Satan who said to Christ, if you bow down, I'll give you, because it's mine to give it to you. That wouldn't have been temptation if it wasn't true. I've said that before. He's called the God of this world. You don't get wealthy, you don't get popular, you don't get fame without going through the doorkeepers. Mm-hmm. Who are the doorkeepers? Well, it's not Weinstein. Although it is interesting, as I digress, that Epstein, Weinstein, there does seem to be a Jewish connection with the doorkeepers, but I digress. Mm-hmm. That's another message for another time. But the question is, are there beings out there? Are we closer to them, wheat and tares, than we realize? Watch this video, see what you think about this guy as it ties in.
You had an encounter with the devil?
Yeah, I got booked for a photo shoot. They took me all the way up this mountain. I was on top of the mountain. We finished the photo shoot. They have OD cars. They got a 3-seater McLaren. They got a Ferrari. And I'm asking them, like, how y'all get all this money? They're like, we do demonic rituals. I'm laughing. No, you don't, bro. I'm like, how you get this money? Don't put me on. I'm trying to get like y'all. Like, nah, we do demonic rituals. I say, so what type of demonic ritual? They say, the Illuminati never talk to you. I'm laughing. I'm still laughing at them. Like, bro, you playing a game. Like, they're like, bro, no, for real. Leonardo DiCaprio do all the initiation. I'm like, what? I'm like, who is that? What is you talking about, gang? Keep it PG-13. He was basically saying, either you let them peg you or you do oral and you'll get whatever you want. If you want to be the next big actress, next big whoever, I can take you to somebody. And all you gotta let them do is just do what they want to do to you. Just for a night. Do some gay, basically do some gay. They doing all this, I'm trying to call my Uber. We on top of the mountain though.
Yeah. So there's another video that talks about him actually seeing someone. See if you can go to see if you can play this one right here. As he's coming down the mountain. Let's see if we can pull this one up.
So I don't got no service. The people who booked me left. After they leave, I'm in the car with the other dude that they called up to have a photo shoot with me. I get in the car with him in a 3-seater McLaren. On the way up, we go all the way up, like in the swivel, like all the way around the mountain. Yeah. On the way down, we take a right. So he not going the same way that we came up. So then that's what I try. I'm like, take me to go get some McDonald's, gang. He said, "We're not gonna take you get no McDonald's. We spent all this money to get you up here. This face change game in front of me. You see Venom, like
yeah, like
Spider-Man.
Yeah, from Spider-Man.
Kind of like that. Probably about this wide. Face change. I'm like, what the? Like it's probably about like right here. Like see somebody morph into something.
Yeah,
it's like that. It threw me all the way off. We in the 3-seater McLaren, so it's like a button you gotta push to get up out of there.
Gotcha.
He smack up mailbox. So now he hit the button and he get up out of there. He hit the button and get up out of there. I see the button, I'm getting up out of there too. I hit the button. Guess what? It's a mailman come out of nowhere. I run up to him, I'm like, "Hey bro, let me get in the back of your truck." He looking at me like, "What the hell? No." I look at him, I'm like, "Bro, just let me get in the back of your truck, bro. Like, please, just take me down to the bottom. Please, just take me down to the bottom." It was God, he took me down to the bottom. Like, people on camera, you ain't gotta believe me, I don't care. I really saw this.
I believe it.
And it made me, that's what made me know that the devil and God was real.
There you go. I mean, you can agree with him or not agree with him, but I mean, the initiation is there. Yeah. He's talking about sexual perversion as an initiation. And then you notice he's talking about the guy that brought him up there said, "We spent all this money on you," right? And then he said he saw him morph.
Yeah.
He saw him morph.
Just like Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah. Let's see if we have, how do you spell Billy Corgan?
I'm not sure.
Saw being, let me see if I can pull that up. I'm trying to get it up. Yeah, but yeah, Corgan, if you try to pull the video up, I'll bring, okay, so yeah. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, band from my heyday, I have to admit. All right, he said, Corgan recounted that he was with someone when that person underwent a transformation he couldn't explain. He emphasized he was completely sober during the incident. He described turning around only to see somebody else standing there, not quite human.
Yeah.
What
happened? Oh, sorry.
Okay. No. Go ahead. This is it right here.
What happened? Give me a for instance. I want to know.
I'm turning red. I'm so embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed. Come on, share. Why not? We have to discuss these things.
Let's just say I was with somebody once and I saw a transformation that I can't explain.
The person transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
Were you on drugs?
I was not. I was totally sober.
Wow.
You were talking with. I'm asking you some questions. If you were talking to someone,
yes.
and you're having a conversation
yes.
like we are now,
yeah.
this close, and the person suddenly, not in a hallucination, they said to you, "Look, something's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to morph into something else," and you're like, "This is ridiculous."
That's not how it happened.
Give me a please. I want to see this.
Imagine you're doing something and suddenly you turn around and there's somebody else standing there.
A different human.
Sorta. It's hard to explain without going to detail. I'd rather not go into details.
Okay, but did you say to the person, "What'd you just do here?" That's
yes,
not you.
And they acknowledged it.
And what did they say they were? From another planet?
They wouldn't explain.
There we go. There we go. So I think as we're sitting here, I'm looking in 2012. I don't know if you remember or not. We did a blurb on this, but one of the bass player, Ralph Reicherman, he was a bass player for Scorpions, another great band. He alleged that he attended an elite quote-unquote snuff party where people were murdered for entertainment. Now, these claims came from sources like InfoWars, which we have later come to find out that InfoWars is pretty doggone accurate.
Yeah.
VigilantCitizen.com, and of course the ever infamous TMZ. He actually cut it off because there appeared to be another claim that was somewhat cryptic afterwards, implying that it was snuff, but that it was actually child sacrifice.
Oh.
So, we've got this transgender shooter who's staring in the mirror at a demon, begging for help. We've got the Parkland shooter that was clearly talking about demonic activity. You've got these shooters going around, and we could dive into, I mean, we haven't even gotten, we've been sitting here chatting for an hour for this. We haven't even gotten into the Vegas shooting, which is still, you said, well, what's the connection there? Well, Sin City, That's still and here's what's interesting to me. That's the most violent episode of shooting. I don't think it's been matched yet. And nobody says, hey, this is as bad as the Vegas shooting, or this reminds me of the Vegas shooting, or do you remember the Vegas shooting?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Like they want you to forget about
it. So I know I'm pivoting on this, but I think it's all connected. Do you think it was a lone Vegas shooter? Do you think it was the guy? What was the guy's name?
Stephen Paddock?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not. If he was even the one doing the shooting at all in the first place.
Oh yeah. We did a show on that before. You can hear multiple gunshots, in my opinion. But yeah, have you ever seen? I'm talking to you now. Have you guys ever seen the Vegas shooter map? Let me rephrase that. And I think maybe I would correct if I said it this way, Kevin. The Vegas shooters map.
Shooters, plural. Yeah.
Shooters map.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, what are you talking about? Well, we're going to pull it up on screen here. So, walk us through, Kevin, what we are looking at. Let me pull it up on my monitor here.
Mm-hmm. So you have here this is a Google map that somebody spent a lot of time putting together, laying out all of the 911 calls, the deaths, the eyewitnesses, the videos, anything related to that evening is played out right here. So you have the Mandalay Bay is where allegedly the Stephen Paddock was, right? Shooting from here. You have over here where all the skull and bones are, was where the victims were at that concert.
So scroll, if you can see, take your cursor, and it's towards the bottom left, the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, Mandalay Bay here.
Right there. Okay.
Cross the parking lot. Mandalay Bay is here. Right here.
Okay.
Mandalay Bay is there. Caddy corner, across the street is where that concert was. Right here. This is where majority of the accounts were, but then you start to zoom out and you see that there's a lot more stuff going on, not close. So if you were, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 10 blocks away and you heard gunshots, your reports would be, I hear gunshots far away. You could tell the difference.
Yes.
You can tell the difference from being right at the scene versus being in a building 10 blocks away from where it happened. But yet you have 911 calls taking place here at the Bellagio about shooters that were there.
They were there.
They were there. Not that I'm hearing gunshots, but that there are shooters. There are men with guns at the Bellagio Hotel. Then you have 911 calls of people finding weapons that were dropped, again, several blocks away from where the actual event was taking place. They're finding automatic weapons on the ground, and they're turning them into the police like, hey, I found this here on the ground. I mean, there's just mass hysteria all over the place around here, and it's just like, and we're not talking about this. We're not going on and saying anything. But one of the weirdest thing is, and I hope I can find it on here. If not, I can edit this in later when I do. But there is an airport. But there are flight logs from that airport of 3 separate helicopters that go into 1 block from the Mandalay Bay where the concert was. And then their flight logs go quiet for 15 minutes. And then they return back to the airport. What was one of the things that we reported when this happened? Was this 2017 when this took place? Was the sound of helicopters. Remember that?
Yeah.
As the sound of the helicopters on all of these 911 calls and all of these videos that were posted to social media is the sound of helicopters in the background. And then it's like, how could one man with a bump stock, several hundred yards away, be that deadly accurate? if you look at where the Mandalay Bay is, where he was, all the way over there, you're looking at 200 plus yards with a bump stock, and I don't know if you've ever fired from a bump stock before. It's not very accurate. Well, it takes a lot to stay on target.
No, and an automatic weapon is not necessarily an accurate weapon anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have these helicopters that were flying up here, encircling the area, and then they went silent for 15 minutes and then went back to the airport. And it's just very strange what took place there. And it's, again, nothing. And then what happens is Stephen Paddock offs himself, allegedly.
Kill switch.
Yeah, an hour before they got to him.
Yes.
If you were up there doing that and you were barricaded and you had that much firepower, that much ammunition, and I want to cause as much carnage as I possibly can. I mean, you're going to go out in a blaze of fire, or you're going to take your life out of the last minute. Not an hour before there was any pressure on him. And there's tons of reports there in the hotel of multiple men carrying up these bags up to his room.
So are these... What are we talking about? Is this human sacrifice? Is that what we're talking about here?
To some extent, probably, yeah. It's hard to put your finger on it. Exactly what's going on.
It really is. I'm going to send you this quick, and we'll see if we can throw this up, because I think it's important that we remember just what we're talking about, because it was so profound, and yet it's almost been expunged from our culture, from our insight. This is what we're talking about right here.
It's on the outside, I promise.
That's not a bump stop.
No. And there's at least 2, if not 3, firearms going off right there at the same time.
You can hear the rounds hitting. That I'll give you. You can hear the rounds hitting. I'll give you that. You can hear the rounds hitting, which would account for some of the sound. But there's at least 2 different reports going on. 2 different reports going on. And we're all circling around that. It's the same thing. It's death, it's murder, it's mayhem, and then these guys are killing themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just stunning. It's stunning when you think about it. Let me see the cab driver video of Stephen Paddock shooting. Do you remember that one? That one was really, really powerful. I wonder if they took it down. Man, I wish I could find that one. Let me see if this one's it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send you this one. We're going back down to history. We're going back down to history lane, boys and girls, because this one is stunning. This one, you can deny it all you want. Listen. Mrs. Soultrap is not a big conspiracy theorist, but as soon as I played this video for her, my wife, she was like, "Oh wow, that's not normal." So this, okay, let me pause it for a second. Let me set this up. What we're saying is that there's something very spiritual going on. These are not normal cases. There's something spiritual. There's something demonic. There's something, I think, human sacrificial that is taking place. Now, we've gone from Minneapolis, Parkland shooter. We've talked a lot. We're landing here. What we were told is it's one guy, a gambler, busts out the window in Mandalay Bay, which you're more than capable of doing because casinos never thought that somebody would break their window. Busts out the window, and then he, with a bump stop, which is very inaccurate, a single bump stop, he's firing. You have to hold that a certain way. I don't even know if you could hold it up with a good, I mean, I guess you could maybe with a scope, but it would be difficult. And it's one weapon firing. Okay, now you listen to this, and what somebody will tell you is, oh, it's the echo. But you can hear the echo. You can hear the first report, then the echo, then you hear a more different report. Listen to this and tell me it's one shooter.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like automatic gunfire.
Okay, pause it right there. First of all, this guy's on the bottom floor. He's underneath the pull-in. Okay, he's on the bottom floor underneath the pull-in, and you can hear the report. We're going to back it up and play it again. And what you'll hear is ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and then you'll hear off in the distance the echo, the report of it. Pop, 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 pop. Now, it's amazing to me how close that sounds. That doesn't sound like on the 33rd floor.
Right.
And that's where it was, right? The 33rd?
Yeah, it was the top, yeah.
It was the 33rd?
I think so.
Yeah, 33rd. I'm sure that's a coincidence. Which, by the way, we were out at a ranch connected to Waco, which was the EE Ranch. But when you turn it around and the sun hit it, it was 33rd. You have to watch that episode, another show, another time. 33rd, whatever that vicinity was. But what you're going to hear as the video goes on is you're going to hear a change in the way the gunfire goes. So let's back it up just a little bit. I want you to hear the fire, then the report, but then you're going to hear a second gun.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like automatic gunfire.
Pause it right there, will you? That wasn't a 30-round magazine.
No.
That wasn't a 30 round. Anybody that shot a 30, you know good and well, that had to be minimum 50 to 75 rounds going off.
Yeah.
That was not a 30 round mag. All right, let's keep going.
Something's going on.
Okay, you got to pause that. Back that up, if you will. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to time that. Welcome to the Soul Trap, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do. All right. I want you to back that up. As soon as it starts, I'm going to time that. Because what we're told is that was a 30-round mag. Regular, standard, assault 30 round. Okay, let's time that. I want you to see how long that burst of fire is. All right, let's go.
Something's going on.
Dude, that was almost 10 seconds. It was 9.2 seconds.
Yeah.
9.2 seconds. I don't know that you would have a handheld. You'd have to have a drum or something.
You have to have a drum. You have to be on a tripod because first off, you wouldn't be able to put the force into the bump stock to be able for it to cycle. If you had that drum, because you'd have to have it resting on something. And those shots sound different than the other ones as well.
They
too.
do.
Yeah,
they do. So it's fascinating. I guess that's what we're getting at. We're doing a lot of research. We've got some shows coming up about the DMT molecule, the connection there. we've got more shows coming up, and some of you guys have been sending in some requests, and we're going to get to them because there's some stuff there. I mean, we got to cover everything. We want to get to Petra. We want to talk about the Georgia Guidestones. It's interesting. You think about the Zodiac murders that's still unsolved. At the end of the day, I think they know who it is, but you think about that. We've got 9/11. Let's not forget the Mountain Dew curse. We got to end on the Mountain Dew curse. We were going to cover that and do a show on that, but tell me about the Mountain Dew curse, man. All right.
Well, the Mountain Dew curse.
And if one thing you could leave alone, for the love of Pete, is leave our Mountain Dew alone.
But, of course, they have to go down that road.
Yes.
So here's the latest conspiracy on the Mountain Dew curse. So allegedly when Mountain Dew comes out with a new flavor, they're always linked to some sort of tragedy.
Oh my goodness.
So as you'll see on the screen, here it is. Code Red, Mountain Dew Code Red, which was great, came out in 2001, which something else happened in 2001. That was in correlation with 9/11 happening within 3 months of Mountain Dew Code Red coming out. Maui Blast came out in 2023.
No way.
When they had the Maui fires. You have the Star Spangled Splash in 2004. Then you had the Francis Scott Bridge collapse at the same exact time. Pitch Black launched, Mountain Dew Pitch Black launched in 2023. You had an IT blackout. And then now we have Baja Midnight. It's coming out in 2025. What in the world is going to happen at Baja Midnight? Is that Three-Eye Atlas coming to us 40 days after the Feast of Trumpets and the end of October? What?
Okay, while we're on that, let's dive into that real quick. Tell us a little bit about that.
So you have this mysterious spaceship that has entered our atmosphere that will pass between, I believe it's the sun and Earth on the end of October. Yeah.
We don't have to worry, though, because the sun's 93 million miles away from the Earth.
Exactly. We're good. They're saying that this Three-Eye Atlas is producing its own spectrum of light. It's a blue light. A blue beam is coming out of this spaceship that is...
Sorry, what did you say? What color?
A blue beam.
A blue beam?
A blue beam.
Project? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is what's going to come into our atmosphere at the end of October 30th, I believe, which is roughly 40 days or so after the Feast of Trumpets, which I have no idea what that means, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Well,
it's just weird. Is Mountain Dew predicting something? Does Mountain Dew know what's happening?
You don't even have to check the news. If you have the King James Bible, Mountain Dew, and The Simpsons, you are cutting edge, man.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed just a little bit. We got more stories. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to post some of these stories, some of these links. We'll post them in the comment sections below so that you can see what we're looking at. And we got some more shows that we're coming up. We're going to be doing a little bit of a reboot on the 9/11. We've got some interesting thoughts about that. We're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the shows we've got coming up. Petra, we're going to be doing, I think the Zodiac Killer is an interesting one. I think there's a connection between that and Jack the Ripper that's spiritual, something we can talk about. We're also going to be looking at some of these other ones, and we haven't even gotten to, I wanted to get to some of the ancient artifacts. We'll be talking about that, talking about the Headington Hill Hall at Oxford. Ancient artifacts, a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.